Hi again, folks. This is Kang Vang, and today we are going to talk a little bit about my experiences as a filmmaker. I've completed 6 feature-length films, all 6 which have been made on shoestring budgets, but they're all released in theaters. And so I want to show you guys how to do that as well. My first film was called 5 Days, and I shot that when I was 18 years old. It took me 2 years to make, and it was funded by 2 jobs. Yeah, I was working at my family's restaurant, and I was saving up the tips that I made. I didn't get paid, but I was saving up the tips that I made to purchase equipment, to purchase cameras, computer editing system, lights, and so I had to be very thrifty. One of the most important lessons that I've ever learned from being a self-funded filmmaker is that it's not the resources that you have, it's how resourceful you can be. So we found the best camera we could at the time to shoot my movie 5 Days. Again, this is in 1998. And so we shot it with a digital Hi8 camera, which was all we could afford at the time. It was a couple $100s. And the quality wasn't even as good as what you guys have on your cell phones these days. But 5 Days, I was a huge fan of the Hong Kong gunfighting dramas, and so were all my friends who were involved in this film with me. And so we wrote this script about 2 brothers because we looked around us and we saw, okay, what resources did we have at the time? We had a couple actors. Some of them knew martial arts, some didn't. And so we wanted to make this badass gunfighting, movie that was reminiscent of the Hong Kong films that we grew up loving, like Hard Boiled, The Killer, Better Tomorrow, those John Woo, Choi Hark movies that everybody loved in the 80s and 90s. And so we wrote the story called 5 Days about 2 brothers who were assassins, or they were part of this government assassin program, and they were trying to work their way up. Pete Wong and Wah Yang, who are also co-writers, they acted as brothers in this film. And then Pete introduced us to Nate Westover, who's an actor. He was also a martial artist. He's a karate teacher. We had a group of friends. We also had a bunch of other friends. So we used people who we had around us who just had some free time, who wanted to make a film. And so the first thing we did was we assessed what resources we already had, so that we didn't have to go out and have to spend money that we didn't have on these resources. So the first thing we had was friends and family who we were able to convince to be in our films with us. And I'm sure with many young filmmakers, that's how it's going to start off with as well. Just people who you are able to convince to share your vision to make your movies. And I was also in school full-time, in college full-time when we started. And so we had very, very little time to work on this, but every free moment that I had, every free minute that I had, I was working on the script, I was working on storyboarding, we were planning out shots, we were searching for resources, we were looking for locations, we're trying to just, call people and talk to whoever we can that had things that we can ask for free or for very little money to help us make our film. I'm going to make this channel very interesting because I'm also working on a sitcom, a web series sitcom, and so I'll also post that on this page. And so subscribe so that whenever those sitcoms come up, or short videos, short films that we're producing comes up, you guys will be the first to know. Also, we'll be doing a lot of instructional videos here, letting you filmmakers out there know what's our equipment I'm working with, the lights I'm getting, and this is all for the shoestring filmmaker. People who are trying to produce films on a shoestring budget, and we not only will be talking about production, we'll also be talking about pre-production, the writing process, storyboarding, and also marketing distribution. How do you get your movies in front of people? My latest film, 1985, which you can see a poster back there, we sold out 3 theaters in our opening night, okay? And then we went off to California, Wisconsin. We were showing this in schools, and so I want to show you guys a different way of thinking about distribution as well, different marketing tactics. And so subscribe. We'll get to all this in due time, but I want to thank you guys for sitting around for this, and we'll see you soon. All right, bye.